welcome back everyone to Sports Kati. It's been a long time, and today we have Bhanu, Akshay, and Karan here to discuss about how the World Cup is going to pan out and who we think are going to do well and who are the players to look out for. So, firstly, let's start on with like Indian squad. So, what do you guys think about India squad? Who do you think we have a well-rounded team?
I mean, I think regarding India's squad, the latest news of Ashwin's addition just deserves Akshay to take the center stage and just celebrate.
Look,
because
India's squad is there's only one round that's required, and his name is Ravichandran Ashwin.
Yeah.
Open the batting with him.
Oh my God!
Yeah, middle of the innings bowling with him. Look, especially if he doesn't start in Chennai against Australia, the crowds are going to turn. There's going to be Jay Shah hanging somewhere. So they need to start him in Chennai, and where else are they playing? All the spin-friendly pitches. They will play Ashwin, they will play Kuldeep, and they will play Jadeja, basically, right? I think.
Yeah,
and Siraj and Bumrah.
For sure, yeah, that's what Ashwin is going to do. I mean, that's what I think the idea of picking Ashwin is. Earlier we had Akshar Patel, now Ashwin. For Chennai, for sure, I think Ashwin will start. Even for Lucknow against England, Ashwin will play a big part. Karan was talking about the situation of Chahal missing out just before the World Cup. He plays till the World Cup and then just misses out. And Ashwin makes it. Ashwin has actually made all the World Cup teams now except 2019. All the ICC events, to be fair, except 2019 World Cup. So he knows how to turn at the right moment.
And I don't know if this is true, and I don't know. I was listening to the commentary like half-hearted, but something about Harsha Bhogle saying Ashwin's only played like a handful of ODIs in the past 6 years. Is that true?
He's played 3 games in the last 5 to 6 years.
Which is nuts if you think about it, right? I mean this is yeah.
Speaking of Harsha Bhogle and Ashwin, have you guys been seeing their Kuti stories on the World Cup, their series on the World Cup reminiscence? I think 3 episodes are out. I think Ashwin should just stop cricket and become like a full-time presenter for world sport, like cricket sport at least. He's so charismatic on TV. I don't know if he's that good a batsman or a fielder. Maybe he's a good bowler. But I don't know if it's that good a batsman or a bowler. Which is what I feel like.
He has 4 more test hundreds than you, Bhanu. I mean, let's be clear.
5 more.
5 more. Sorry.
That's true.
If they had enough balls in ODI cricket, he would have if he bats high up enough. And look, if he has to like how they organize the special ODI just for Tendulkar to get his whatever 100th 100. If you do that for Ashwin, I'm sure he can perform. But it's going to be fun to see India play. Basically, I
feel Ashwin is not going to play all games.
I also feel he's not going to play all games.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, Ashwin comes in, Ashwin bats at number 8. Now, that is where I want to ask all of you. What do you think of India's lower order batting? Now, with 7 being Jadeja, 8 being Ashwin, 9, 10, 11 are Bumrah, Siraj, and Kuldeep. None of them can bat. Do you think Jadeja is good enough?
I've been following the Indian team a bit. And my understanding is that we should go with the 7-4 format, even though all the other teams aren't doing that. But it doesn't make sense to play Shardul Thakur because he's going to league 70 runs in how many overs he balls. Might as well play Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah. And then you've got Kuldeep there, and then you've got Hardik Pandya and Jadeja. So if it's not a turning pitch, you play your 3 main fast bowlers and leave the batting till number 7, because it doesn't make sense to play Shardul Thakur in my opinion, because all the other teams will be targeting him whenever he comes in, either in middle overs or wherever he does. So if the pitch is not turning, leave Ashwin out, leave Thakur out, play the 3 seamers we have. It's also going to be a lot of workload management.
Just to jump in here, right? Like first things first, this World Cup is very different from the other few we've had because there are 9 confirmed games we have to play. 9, right? Which is a lot of games to play for any World Cup, any team. So it's almost like saying the starting 11 has to remain consistent throughout the World Cup, which is very hard for any team to manage, especially on Indian pitches, because you playing in a Firozshah Kotla versus playing on a Chepauk is 2 very different pitches. So I feel like the team composition should depend ideally on a mixture of the opponent you're playing plus the venue you're playing. So blindly saying include Ashwin or Shardul, or for that matter, even when it comes to, like, for me, I think the bigger decision India has to make is who's going to keep behind the wickets. I think that's India's biggest decision in this World Cup, especially now after this Asia Cup and this Australia series. We've seen Rahul take the gloves. We've seen Ishan Kishan take the gloves. We all are going to miss Rishabh Pant, no doubt about that. But who is it actually going to be? We still don't know. There has been no communication from the team. There has been, unless Rohit, you've heard something like
No, I haven't heard anything from the team anyway, for sure. But I think for me, it's very clear. For me, Rahul takes a spot. So that is very, very clear.
The thing to remind ourselves here is Rahul is first of all coming back after a big injury, a serious injury. So it's not like he's coming back completely fit into the World Cup. And the second thing is, like, Rahul keeping is the same as Dravid keeping for me. It's like the 2003 World Cup, where India did make it to the finals, but our weakest link actually was our wicket keeping. There were several missed runouts during the Australia game when Australia smacked 350.
I mean, our weakest was Zahir Khan giving 17 off in the first over or 13 off in the first over with
But
some
Zahir
5 wides. I don't think you can blame the Dravid for that.
I'm just saying, like, stepping into
And
a World
obviously,
Cup without,
Ricky Ponting having the spring in his bat, like
That's
Jayasuriya having the
That
spring
was
in his
the
bat.
main reason. I
I
agree
think
with
that
you.
was the reason. That was the actual reason. But no, I think two things come to my mind here, right? Like, I was just reading a little bit before our chat. Our 83 World Cup team had 6 all-rounders. 6. And I think the biggest difference between that, and again, I'm not comparing the two teams or saying that was the right formula and the one we have now is not. But I honestly feel like this team has a very big divide between batsmen and bowlers. And of course, there is only Jadeja. And with Akshar Patel's injury now, it just leaves like Jadeja as the full all-rounder
Hardik.
team. I mean,
Hardik.
there are always question marks whether he's going to bowl the full 10 or not. Jadeja will come in, will deliver his 10 overs in 6 minutes and go back without a doubt. But like with Hardik, that pace is always a question, because the thing about Hardik's bowling capabilities, in my opinion, is that if he's not fast, he's useless. Then it's like playing tennis ball cricket for any batsman. He can't swing the ball as much. He doesn't have the bounce if the pitch is not doing anything for the fast bowler. So without that pace, he's harmless on Indian pitches.
I mean, he did okay for the IPL.
You see how he got Babar Azam out in that Asia Cup game in Sri Lanka. That was an amazing ball. Like, come on.
Bro, if we run a survey and across all the World Cup teams, amongst batsmen, are you scared of Hardik Pandya's bowling? The answer will unanimously be we don't care.
No, but he's a good bowler.
Personally for me, I'll see Hardik. I agree. He's not like someone batsman will be fearing about Hardik Pandya, but Hardik Pandya is for me a very good third bowler, and he can bowl 140. He can bowl cutters. He can bowl. I mean, he has shown during the IPL campaign for India at various points. He can do a lot of things. So for me, he is a very good third bowler. The problem for me with him is that whether he can do it over the period of 9 matches, whether he can continuously bowl all 9 matches. That I'm not very sure, because his fitness has been a bit of a concern. So we will need to manage his workload. For me, that is a matter of concern. But otherwise, I think Hardik is a very, very underrated bowler, and I think he will play important parts in India's victories through the campaign. That's my point.
I hope so too. I honestly hope so too.
For the context of this discussion, I think India is playing 11 games in the World Cup and not 9.
No, 9 for sure. I meant like
no. I'm just gonna let's just talk about 11 games. So you're making the final.
As an Indian fan, I would love nothing else but 11 games and the World Cup once again.
But coming back to your question, the bigger issue is not KL Rahul. It's about, if you're not playing Rahul, you have to play Ishan Kishan, because he's the only other keeper we have in the team. And if you're playing him, he has to play in the middle order. And my issue with Ishan Kishan is it takes too long to get going. Every other batsman, in what I've seen so far in the preparations, once they're out there and the pitch is not supporting them, they're okay with rotating the strike. Ishan Kishan has a lot more dot ball percentage. So in that case, you have to play Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar Yadav with whatever he does, getting his T20 format. I would prefer Iyer, but
same.
That's why, in my opinion, you wouldn't want Ishan Kishan there unless they're resting someone or something, where India has won like 5.
Isn't Ishan Kishan has like some 550s or some ridiculous number in his last,
but
and he's left-handed.
That's his call.
Those are like picky stats, to be fair, because firstly, they didn't come in one particular position. They came in some in opening, some in middle order, and then they came in different locations. They came West Indies against an maybe not so great West Indies team. So you know, a bit of I wouldn't hang on to that 550s and his current form. Okay, he's a good player, and when the situation is needed where you need someone to score quick runs, he is the best we have in the middle order. Okay, I would even say better than Sky in ODIs from so far what you have seen. Sky has a higher peak, but Sky's consistency has been very poor. So Ishan Kishan gives you that, but as Karan rightly mentioned, Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul for me are pivotal players for us. Like I don't think, I mean, for sure Kohli's pass is best. Okay, Rohit Sharma's pass is best. So I am very sure we are going to be in positions where we are 120 for 2 or 120 for 3, and we will need to bat the next 20 overs. And for this, Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul are the batsmen for us to take us through. I don't think Ishan Kishan or definitely not Sky can do it as of today.
I mean, if Rohit Sharma can match his 5 centuries from 2019 World Cup, this World Cup is definitely ours. I mean, that was quite a record. What a run he had last time around. But I agree with Rohit. I think our openers, I mean, in Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill, we have a very lethal.
Can I just pause and say 1 second, Bhanu? Sorry to cut you off. Yeah. Shubman Gill is in the form of his life.
That he is.
He's hitting everywhere, off, on, pull, cover drive. And I'm looking forward to that guy. He could be one of the leading run scorers, in my opinion, in the World Cup. Continue your point.
As an opener, he has the license to go and make those big scores because he can bat through the innings or at least 35, 40 overs. And we've seen that temperament from him as well against the big teams in Asia Cup and even before the Asia Cup earlier on in this year. He's having a phenomenal 2023 and I hope he continues that, not for anything else, but I think then he cements his position as India's #1 opener right now because Rohit Sharma, it's just a matter of time before Rohit Sharma has to give that spot to somebody else, in my opinion. Like, he's not been consistent. He's not had any big scores or any effective big scores this year. Virat Kohli's definitely last World Cup. I think this is Rohit Sharma's last World Cup as well. So,
speaking of Rohit Sharma having to give up his spot to someone else, so when India win the World Cup, what is the likelihood that Modi picks up lifts the trophy rather than Rohit Sharma? I think it's dead on. I think the man's going to lift the World Cup. I think he's going to have that as his Twitter background. He's going to go all in.
He hardly has any viewers. I think this will pump up the viewership.
Look, I don't know if this is the type of viewers you want.
Channel blocked, but I think
I was just going to say, Rohit, you have the caption for this video's upload title already now. You can just write Modi. Anything with Modi in India definitely works.
Just a quick start on Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill has already scored 1,200 runs this year. And he's got 11 games for sure. And the most runs scored in a calendar year is by Sachin around 1,800.
1900, yeah.
So he technically we've got another series coming in after that. So he's got 14 games to score about 700 runs. So if Shubman Gill can do that, I think that he's already got, 500 this year?
Yeah, he got 5 this year.
I'm backing, I want that guy to get there. He's in good form, but
okay, so now let's we have to move on. So let's quickly. So Bhanu told India's weakness or India's point of concern is the keeping. I was talking about number 7 Jadeja batting and the lower order batting. Anything else which you think is kind of concern for India, going forward, or I think we have covered all the other bases?
The fielding hasn't been that great. We've dropped some sitters, and I feel sometimes they get too complacent when, especially that happened against Australia in the second one day when they had 9 wickets and they dropped about 3 or 4 catches. So I just hope we don't get complacent in games where we're on top of the game and then we end up dropping a few catches. But other than that, let's see. We should have a good run at the cup.
That, and I just to finally add, I think the weather is going to be very interesting, right? I think potentially shortened games, high pressure situations. One innings doesn't go one way, and then India's under the cosh. So that's going to be interesting.
True. Yeah, I think weather is going to play a big part. I think if so far we have not seen dew, but if dew comes in, I think a lot of the strategies will go haywire. So let's see. I think all teams have those issues. So now let's see. Now, okay, this is all about India. So now coming to the World Cup top 4. Who do you guys think?
Before we leave India, I wanted to make one mention. I really feel like this is the best pace attack we've had in decades together. I think Bumrah plus Shami plus Siraj together is definitely right up there. I don't see any other team that has such quality wicket taking
You
pace bowlers.
you're going to expect to hear from Venkatesh Prasad on your Twitter. The sports cutty is going to get some Venkatesh Prasad action. So
Venki, if you are listening to us, please retweet. Please make our channel go viral. Please do subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Yes.
But no, I really, I'm really very hopeful about India's bowling attack this year. I think our batting will make us either win or lose games. Our bowling will fairly remain consistent, in my opinion. Like there might be an off day, or sometimes they might have to rest players against teams like Afghanistan or maybe Netherlands towards the end. So you don't know what the mix might be during those games. But overall, against the key games with Pakistan or Bangladesh or Australia, England, I really feel like our bowlers have it in them to rip through any batting lineup and defend, either help us defend the score or make sure our batsmen don't have to chase 350s and 400s on Indian pitches.
Yeah. I mean, I know I didn't think about it so much. I didn't highly rate the bowlings, to be fair. But when you were talking about it, yeah, it does make sense. Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah are top bowlers, and Shami maybe slightly past his best, but still very very potent bowler. Having said that,
Guys, just a reminder, actually, we are the top ranked team across all formats going into the World Cup. I know,
Yes.
like home support and stuff like that. So I think we are all being a little cautious with our, or we are not just being very bullish at the moment. But I really think our chances are.
I mean, I think India, if you don't win the World Cup, is a disappointment.
Exactly.
It's a big disappointment.
You don't want TG saying shit to India, right? I mean, that's how they make their money. So.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Oh, Irfan is joining in. Okay, so anyways, so now we have covered the part of India. So being in top four, I think that has been nailed in. So now let's see, who are the other three teams which you think will make the semi-finals?
We'll start with Karan.
Karan, what do you think?
England is going to be one. Definitely, they're going to be favorites. Other than the squad that they have, the thing is, out of the 15 players they've picked, they've got 6 proper all-rounders in them. They've got Moeen Ali, Sam Curran, Livingstone, Ben Stokes, Willie, and Chris Wokes. Ben Stokes has come out of retirement, but that squad, I think they bat till like number 10 or 11. I mean, it's mad. Like they've got an answer to every solution. Like, we've all met that one person in life who's just, he has all the answers. I feel the England team is that. Like, if it's a spinning pitch, they've got a spinning option. If it's a pacing or a turning again, they've got pacing options. And then they've got amazing batters. They've got Malan, Bairstow, Josh Butler. So I think they've got all their grounds covered in that perspective. And I really hope that they have a few tough games where, like, the Ireland game they had in the 2011 World Cup or something of those sorts, where suddenly they come up against Pakistan and they lose a few games and that takes a drop. Because I feel that the chances of them making the top 4 are pretty good, but I hope they don't. I mean, because I'm just a bit skeptical when India might play them in the semis or in the knockouts. It could be the repeat of the T20 World Cup. So I don't want that, but then let's see. Strong side.
Rohit, you might have to just mute Irfan.
I'm muting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But
so
while Karan was speaking,
what is going to go against? Sorry, Bhanu. What is going to against? What is going to go against England is going to be their Indigo flight traveling situation. I don't know if you saw, but there's going to be an Indian auntie screaming at Bairstow saying she's in his seat. So, and I think that's going to mentally shake them up.
I think that will have to, because England team, as Karan mentioned, is just top class all over. Like they, on paper, if I have to play a computer game, I'm playing cricket 22 now, I pick England because that is so good. Because at number 10 and 11, you have Wood and Rashid to come in, which is incredible. So England is too good.
It's crazy. Out of the 15, I was just counting 13 of them play IPL. So it's not like they don't know the English, the Indian condition anymore. Like, in earlier times, you could see that they don't know the English conditions. Like, Joe Root has played IPL technically for Rajasthan. So he's been in India for a bit this year as well. And I feel that's going to help them in.
I mean, if you think about it, the English team in that's coming to India this year, is a pretty much mirror image of the Indian team that won the World Cup in '83 in London. If you think about it, we had Saeed Kirmani at number 10, and he has 20 first-class centuries. We had Roger Binney at number 8. We had Madan Lal at number 9. The only one person in the final team who was not a classified batsman in the Indian team was Balwinder Sandhu. And he was not out at the end of the innings with 20 runs, which helped us reach 183, by the way. So, like, this is such a turnaround of events. The English team coming to India this year is full, like Karan was saying. They've not just got all-rounders, they've got all-rounders who can score fast. So they don't need time to settle in. They can come in and start whacking spin and fast bowling both. I mean, Ben Stokes is probably the best of them, but like even Livingstone, like he's so good. He can. He's such a scary player. No matter when he comes, he can be sent up at number 3, number 4 if the team needs quick runs. If he comes in at number 6, number 7 after the openers have had a good run, he can still score very fast and get you across that 350 mark if the team has played really well. And with bowling,
and underrated bowling.
Exactly. So not like the Hardik.
I remember him stifling India with the off spin, frustrating us in a match that basically he won. Or I don't know if it was him for India against CSK, one of them.
He can bowl off spin and leg spin. That's the
and leg spin. Yes. So he's basically a very difficult bowler to pick. So I don't know. I'm thinking
that's the only weakness I see in the team. If the pitch is not helping the bowlers too much or not spinning, it's like, you know, we'll get the pitch we got in the second ODI when India played England, like a proper flat road. I mean, I'm sure England will score runs. I'm just not sure how good their bowling is going to be. That's my only concern looking at their 15, where if the pitch has nothing to offer to them, then it's a win-win for both teams. So that's the only.
So I think England is everyone's choice. So what are the other two teams now? England, India done. So who are the other two teams which you think will be going? Yes, actually.
Just before we move to England,
you want to name 2 players and then drop, or?
Yeah, you want to name
yes, 2? It has to be for the good of the sport. It has to be Pakistan, right? India-Pakistan final, all on the line in Ahmedabad. I mean, can you imagine, right? Pakistan, I think, has nothing to lose. It would be great for Gujarat tourism, right? Gujarat hospital beds per night, whatever, all of the metrics that. So it has to be Pakistan, and the other one has to be Australia. I think just from a quality perspective, just top 4 teams. I think that would make for the most entertaining. It'll probably be bad for Indian hearts in terms of like how, you know, what's on the line. It's like United playing City in a Champions League final. Would I want it? Never, right? It's just never.
It's a shame how quickly New Zealand have fallen off the list for top 4, especially after being finalists next year. Like, I don't think New Zealand is making the top 4 list for anyone. Not just the 4 of us. No pundit, no channel, no YouTuber is ranking New Zealand high enough, and I just feel bad for them.
Which is always now, isn't it the case? They always are.
I think running into the 2019 World Cup, they were a really top side. Like they were not there by luck. It was not luck by chance. It was they played really good cricket.
I mean, the rain against India really helped.
I mean, okay. So, by the way, who's your 3rd and 4th team? Before we go,
my 3rd and 4th. Huh? My 3rd and 4th, you're asking?
Yeah.
Same. Pakistan and Australia. I think they will be the top 4, unless like Sri Lanka from nowhere managed to, you know, like come up with a big surprise.
Spin.
Yeah, I think because the Sri Lankan team has nothing to lose. I think, and we saw that in the Asia Cup as well. They have nothing to lose. It's a far call, but I don't see any Afghanistan or Bangladesh.
You're forgetting South Africa. I think they're a good team. I feel South Africa.
Karan, South Africa and World Cups are just not a match that we can talk about. So like, let's leave them aside. Let's leave South Africa are known chokers. They will continue to choke. But I'm being data driven here more than anything else.
New Zealand point. I think the issue with that team is most of the players are like that 32, 33, 34 kind of an age.
Yeah, right, it's an old squad.
Last time when they played the World Cup, they were the 28, 29. So I think that is what's happened. They haven't found enough players to replace their older players, and let's see how they work it out. But yeah, that's what I feel about them.
To be fair with New Zealand, just to remind us all, because New Zealand made the finals 2 times in a row now. But you know, New Zealand going in 2019 was like similar situation. You know, they were not looked up as a team which will qualify in top 4. It was again Australia, India, England top 3, and then the 4th position between Pakistan, South Africa, New Zealand, one of the teams. So New Zealand was only there. and they actually barely made it to the semi-finals, because what happened was the India-New Zealand match got washed out. Okay, and New Zealand had a very close margin victory, which they did manage to win against. If I am right, I don't remember who, but and that is how they managed as a fourth team to qualify. So they just made it to the semis, and then obviously they had this big day. So for me, New Zealand did achieve what they were did, and which they had a good team. And even today, even if you remember, if you watch yesterday's match against Pakistan, the warm-up match, I know it was a warm-up match, they thrashed Pakistan. They won. They chased 340 in 45 overs. So they are.
Sachin Ravindra was opening. I'm like,
exactly,
what?
yeah. So they do have a
He scored a
very
90 odd, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Someone coming and balling who can ball left arm off spin, then come and open and then score 90 at 70 balls. Incredible. So they do have a good team, I would say. But again, I still think, as Bhanu was saying, for me, they come under Pakistan. So I have put them in 3 levels just to give you a picture. So I have, for me, India, Australia, England. We are the top level. So they are 3 teams which are, like, for me, 90% into the semis. Now outside that is New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Maybe you can put all 5. Okay, 5 teams. Now these 5 teams, it's all about consistency. Like, how much can they beat each other? Can Bangladesh cause an upset against, say, Pakistan? It is possible. On their day, Bangladesh can defeat all these 5 teams. They beat England at home, India at home. So they, in these conditions, they can win these matches. Sri Lanka, they just beat Bangladesh twice in Asia Cup. So they also can do that. New Zealand recently beat Bangladesh in Bangladesh. So they also can do it. So it's about whether who can do that 2 or 3 wins between these 5 teams, between these 5. Because to be fair, Afghanistan and Netherlands are not going to make it. Okay, let's be clear.
I was going to, when I was coming to this, I was thinking what's happened to West Indies. Then I realized, oh fuck, they're not even playing.
That's really sad.
That's quite a miss after.
It's good you remembered, Bhanu. Otherwise, said, hey, West Indies also might have a chance.
No, man, come on. I'm a man. But I think we have just a few minutes left. I want to just ask both of you one question. Player of the tournament.
Okay. So because Karan is having his poster behind as Shubman Gill, it kind of drives my mind to Shubman Gill. But he is, as Karan mentioned, in the best form of his, so far young career. So for me, Shubman Gill is having the potential to be the batsman of the tournament. Or whether he'll be the player of the tournament really depends on how the pitches are going to play. But for me, the highest run getter is going to be Shubman Gill, and I think he's my person also for, as of now, the player of the tournament.
Karan?
I think Gill for me. But just because we've got 4 minutes left and I'm in Australia, I have to talk about the Aussie team as well, which we haven't discussed. And lately they've faced some issues, just 2 minutes. And my concern with them is they have a solid team, right? But with the whole Travis Head injury and Manas Labuschagne coming in, it becomes a bit tricky with them. I still think they're a pretty good team. I mean, what they did in that final ODI, like Mitchell Marsh, man, when he hits, it stays ahead. Those big shots, like he's pretty strong. And then Warner needs to understand where he's playing, left or right. I'm just not sure yet. But they have a pretty good team. To answer Rohit's question, I think Shubman Gill, man, my man of the tournament. I'm rooting for him to break Sachin's record this calendar year. What about you, Bhanu?
I don't know. I just feel KL Rahul will be the player of the tournament.
Oh, wow. That's a bold call. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a bold call, but I feel like
Can I say something about KL Rahul? I saw him bat in the Asia Cup. And for some reason, he's always come across this player who's a bit under the pump for me. I've never seen him calm and composed. But when I saw him bat in Asia Cup this time around, I found that he's a bit more calm and composed. Or it could be the Dravid effect or whatever you call it. I just feel he's in a good mental position right now for him to just stand there and score those runs. And the number 4 or the middle order problem which we have with India, I think
just to add, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting only because we have 2 minutes left. Because I think the reason for that is that if you guys remember KL Rahul from last year's IPL, he was in the wild form. He was the captain, he was the keeper, he was the opener, he was scoring, like he was just so difficult for any team to stop. And I think the biggest reason for that was he was playing with freedom. He was not questioning his spot in the team because captaincy gave him that assurance. And what I'm thinking is this entire turnaround of Rishabh Pant not being available and him being the wicketkeeper, now he knows he will play either as a wicketkeeper or as a batsman, and that's just going to give him enough freedom. And I'm not saying Shubman Gill just to have some diversity and some, just have a third name or second name in this group, but So that was one question I wanted to ask all of you. I don't think I should ask, but I'm guessing all three of us are rooting for India to win the World Cup. But then the question is, who will be the finalist?
I would think England will be the finalist because the way it is structured. Because England
Yeah.
have to, if India or England have to be in the first position. That means England will come in the second one. So I would, my point is England will come on paper. For me, they are the team to beat.
Yeah.
So,
Fair. Karan?
I feel it'll be India-Pakistan. I feel England will not finish. England will finish maybe third or fourth. And then Pakistan will end up playing them in the semi-final, and Pakistan will beat them, and we'll beat Australia.
If this World Cup was happening anywhere else, I would have also said Pakistan. But just because it's happening in India and all the media attention the Pakistani team will receive and everything, I just don't think Pakistan will be able to sustain the pressure of being in a World Cup in India. But again, if it's in India, Pakistan, be ready for Hotstar to prepare some crazy server loads and break concurrent viewing records in the history of sports all over the world.
The final is in Ahmedabad, the dry state, by the way, so no alcohol. Hey.
So, there will be enough. No, but guys, listen. I think the final will be like Rohit said in India-England final. Being here in London, there will be nothing better than beating England, going to office the next day, and saying, "Well, guys, yeah, you guys might have made the sport. We are definitely kicking your ass at it right now."
agree with you. I would love for that too. Anyways, I think we have done with time here. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you later. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye. Enjoy.